Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Lion, and if you guys been following my journey, if you guys have been subscribed to my channel, you already know that I have been pretty obsessed with learning new things. And I think one of the byproducts of doing that, it really made me realize a lot about the entire process of trying to learn something new. And also gave me a lot of perspective on what it is that you need to do in order to be a lot more effective. And I think the reason why I decided to even look into it and start thinking about it is because I think that a lot of us, and myself included, feel often enough that we are just stuck. That we kind of feel that we want to do something, we kind of feel that we deserve more, we kind of feel that we want to do great things, we want to do better things, we want to better ourselves, we want to develop ourselves, we want to accomplish certain things. But a lot of times we feel that we are just stuck. We don't even know where to start. We don't even know what the first step that we need to take in order to progress, in order to really make a first move towards where we really want to go. We kind of feel that we're not comfortable and we're not supposed to be where we are today, but we feel stuck trying to develop ourselves and really trying to move forward. And I started thinking of why is that and what really causes us to feel stuck. So that's the reason really I want to make this video today. I want to talk to you about how to really unstuck yourself and really just push towards where you really want to go. And if you are feeling that you are not where you're supposed to be, really listening to that voice inside of you and trying to understand what it is that you really need to do in order to be where you want to be. First of all, I feel like we are very, very lucky to live in our day and age because there's really nothing that we don't know how to do and can find out within minutes, right? I mean, because everything is really at our fingertips today. We can go on our cell phones and within a couple of minutes, we'll find dozens or even hundreds of YouTube videos that are talking specifically about what it is that we want to learn. We're going to see a whole bunch of blogs and articles and audiobooks. Just a whole bunch of information is available to us today within just minutes. The barrier to entry to information, living in the information age today, is just extremely low. If you have a cell phone and an internet connection, you can learn pretty much anything you want to do. So why is it that a lot of us feel stuck still, right? That we feel like we don't even know how to progress. We don't know what we need to do in order to achieve what it is that we need to achieve in life. Compared to, how life was back in the day and like our parents' age, where they needed to find something out, it wasn't at all like that. They either had to, find a mentor or physically go into a library and hopefully find, a handful of books that maybe a chapter within that book or even just a page was hopefully remotely related to the specific question that they had and the specific thing that they wanted to learn. So it's definitely become a lot easier to have access to information. And while doing all of this research, I came across a concept that's called analysis paralysis. And according to Wikipedia, analysis paralysis describes as an individual or group process when overanalyzing or overthinking a situation and can cause forward motion or decision making to become paralyzed, meaning that no solution or course of action is decided upon. And this is something I connected with immediately. Our normal decision-making process. So the way we are taught to make decisions and really progress and do things is by doing some sort of analysis, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to understand what's going on. You need to understand the options before you make a decision. It's common sense, right? But the way we are really taught to make decisions is that we have to analyze the entire situation. So basically, and this is the way I would also often approach sort of any situation in my life, right? I would basically like to see all the cards laid out in front of me. I would like to see all the different options and I would like to see all the different solutions, scenarios, and outcomes, and then choose the one that I find that I most identify with. And I think that this is where the problem really lies. Having too many options, having too many outcomes, having too much information available to you is like not having enough information. It's like not having enough options. You don't know what to choose because there are just so many different options. Because if we're trying to research on anything, we're going to find so many different articles. We're going to find so many different books. We're going to find so many different videos that are just available to us right there. And with the internet and with having so many options, it is obviously impossible. It is physically impossible to go through all the different options. We can't see all the videos. We can't read all the articles or all the books or whatever it is that is available out there. We can't go on all the forums and read all the comments. It's impossible, right? So we always feel like we don't know something. And what that does is really kills our confidence to really get started and get going or anything, because we feel like we don't have enough information to even make the first step. And that is what paralyzes us. And if we spend long enough in that situation, if we spend long enough researching, we spend long enough just trying to find out all the options, educate ourselves, and hopefully finally feel confident enough, we lose that confidence. And there's still more information that you can read, that you can educate yourself before you even get started, before you even make a first step into doing it. And that could last for hours, that could last for days, weeks, maybe even months, sometimes years. You're trying to figure something out, and that's taking you so long because you always feel like you don't know enough about the subject to even say that I'm going to start doing it, right? Because most of us like, oh, would you do that? I'm like, oh, I have no idea how to even start. And often enough, we don't even want to, because we know that the process will be just so laborious and just so long that we don't even want to go in it. And spending so long in that process, being paralyzed, we lose interest, or we just give up on that project because we feel like the more we find out and the more we learn, the more articles, the more videos we see, the more there are out there, and the more information that we have to learn before we even make the first step. So we just give up. So what do we do? And like I said, since I had to learn quite a few different things in the past couple of weeks and even months, and really what I found out based on doing all these things, and I developed a simple technique that you can apply as well, break down the entire learning process into very simple steps that will allow you not only to escape that analysis paralysis and really start everything a lot sooner, but also to learn the entire thing and really get effective in whatever it is that you're trying to do very quickly. So the first thing that I discovered from doing all of these things in the past few months is that you have to just try and start without doing any research. And if you watch any of my videos, I usually start with doing absolutely zero prior research. I don't know anything at all about the subject, but I'm trying to just start. We might not know the correct ways to start and progress in any sort of subject. We most of the time have seen it done before. We know what it is. You have a general understanding and a general idea of what it's supposed to look like, right? And that's where you have to start. Just get started with whatever it is that you have today without doing any prior research. And that's already going to push you into the first step. And you're going to be, instead of analyzing and learning, you're going to be doing. And not only that will give you a huge amount of confidence, because at this point you are doing it. You wanted to do something and you are already in the midst of doing it. You are accomplishing and you are moving towards what you need to be doing, and you feel like you are being effective, which gives you just a load of confidence to not only keep going, but to do whatever it is that's necessary to bring it to the end. Because at this point, you have already started. You know, they always say that the hardest thing about any project is to start. And this is 100% true, because the hardest thing, I mean, once you have a huge company and you just have to run it, it's not as difficult as it was when you were first getting started, when you were first all by yourself, sitting in a room trying to figure out what it is that you want to do, how it is that you want to do it, and really just getting started. That's the most difficult process, and that's the most difficult part where most of us really get stuck. That's where all our hopes and dreams and aspirations, go to die. The process where we, want to do something, kind of feel like we need to do it, know that we will be a lot happier if we did it, but don't, because we don't take the first step. So if you are already doing it, you'll get that load of confidence and you will already be in the midst of doing something. And at that point, you already made a commitment to yourself to already do it, because you're already in the middle of doing it. So start doing it, even if you have no idea what really is you're supposed to be doing, what's the best way. It doesn't matter. At this point, just get started. Just trying to figure it out on your own without any prior knowledge and without really anybody recommending anything, you're going to start asking the right questions. You're going to start understanding the reasoning behind all this information that you're going to be learning on. And you're also going to be absorbing that information a lot better. If you want to know how to, change the oil in your car, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to go there, and the plug is there, and the dipstick is there, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. You don't know the terminology. You don't understand where and what you're supposed to be looking for. And all this is just going to seem a lot more complicated for no reason to you. But if you climb under your car and you just start looking for things, and you open up the hood and you start understanding, okay, I think the oil is there, and I think that's the plug, and I think once you watch a video, once you read an article, or once you go through a book that tells you exactly what it is that you need to be doing, all this is going to make a lot more sense in your head, and your entire learning process is going to become a lot shorter, because at this point you don't have to read through the entire article, and you don't have to read 6 or 10 of them, right? You just read one and you already are catching the information a lot better. So just get started. Just start doing whatever it is that you need to be doing right off the bat without any prior knowledge. You already made a commitment. You are more confident. The information that you're going to be getting afterwards is going to come a lot better to you. And you are doing it already. And that entire process from deciding that you want to learn something and getting it done and really learning and going through the entire process is going to be a lot shorter, because you're not going to waste hours, days, weeks, months, years on that preparation stage, on that stage that you feel like you need to do all the research before. So that's number one. Just get started. Number two is learning stages. Don't try to go through the entire analysis, through the entire research phase in one go. Don't just try to say, okay, I'm going to learn everything that there is to learn about this theoretically before I get started and make my first step. So once you get to the stage where you need to figure something out specifically about what it is that you're doing at that specific time, then just do the research on that specific topic, get that done, and then move forward. And then you're going to have another question, and at that point, do the same thing. And that basically falls along the lines of learning by doing. The problem is that our entire education system is really made backwards like that we're trying to, learn everything about a subject, trying to memorize that, and hopefully, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years down the line, whatever it is, we are going to remember and apply that one thing that we've learned from back in the day. And most of the time, we're not going to remember. And most of the time, it's not going to apply specifically to the situation we're in. That's why there's such a huge disconnect between what we learn in school and what we do every day, whether in our jobs, in our businesses, or whatever it is. It's not practical information. It's just theoretical information. All right, so the last and third point that I want to talk to you about is that don't get trapped and get paralyzed by the idea that you have in your head that you are good at certain things and not so good at other things. I am completely, after doing so many things that are completely outside of my comfort zone, and I had no prior knowledge on, I am completely certain at this point that literally anybody can learn absolutely anything, and it's not going to take that long to learn it either. There's a really weird misconception that is really being sort of drilled into our mind since we were little kids, is that some people are good at certain things and others are good at other things. You weren't born with that specific talent. You're not talented enough to, learn how to play the piano, or you're not talented enough to do things with your hands and be a mechanic or be a woodworker. That's complete bullshit. It's not a thing. And get that misconception out of your head as soon as possible, because that's what really I find stopping a lot of us from really achieving what it is that we need to do in order to be happy, is because we're stopping ourselves. I wish I would be an actor, but I'm not, that good. I'm a shy person, and I'm not as outgoing as some other people. And these guys who are outgoing don't have a very good, musical ear or whatever it is. So I'm not going to be a good singer, or I'm not going to be good at playing an instrument. That's complete bullshit. And it's not a thing. Literally anybody can learn how to do anything, and based on what we did in the past, if we did a little bit of music or whatever, some things might come easier to some people than they are to others right from the beginning. But that percentage at the beginning of learning something new that's going to be easier for some people versus others is just so small and negligible, is that it makes no difference that you have a musical ear if you don't spend the time actually practicing and learning and working on it, actually doing it. So somebody who has absolutely no musical ear and has no experience in music whatsoever, but decides to do it and really puts in the time, the effort, and sacrifices things in order to really learn how to do it very, very well, they're going to be a lot further, a lot faster than anybody who has quote unquote talent. A lot of us are stuck in the concept of perfection. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be the best. But those of us who really succeed and move forward in life are not people of perfection. They're people of good enough. People who don't censor themselves and stop themselves from doing something if they feel like they're not going to be perfect at it. And doing that over time again and again and again and again, knowing that they might not be perfect. They might not be perfect today, and they might not never be perfect. but they are doing it. And that's what separates them from everybody else who think that if they're not going to be perfect, they shouldn't even try doing it. So really quoting Nike here, just freaking do it. You know, it really doesn't matter what you think, that those old misconceptions, just throw them out of your mind and understand that they're just in your mind. They don't really exist. If you want to learn anything, there's really nothing stopping you out there. And there are really no things that you are good at versus things that you are bad at. There's just things that you have done and things that you haven't done yet. If we just get going and if we could just get started, we're gonna get that inertia. We're gonna get that snowball effect. And really, there's nothing stopping us at that point. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. So until my next video, don't forget to stay unchained. Peace.